fellow diamond painting addicts, and welcome back to Diamond Painting Anonymous. I'm Daphne, and I'm here today for this week's WIP and Chat. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not new here, welcome back. WIP, W-I-P, stands for Work in Progress, and this is mine. You are welcome and encouraged to go grab whatever you are working on and work alongside while I chat, or alternatively, you can treat this as a podcast and just listen while I chat. Today I am going to be working on my Halloween gnome. This is my second kit for Drills and Chills. I don't have very much left, as you can see, so I'm going to zoom in to where I'm going to be working and I will be right back. Don't go anywhere. All right, let me get my timer started. I'm going to start with the black here and let me jump into my life update. What's been going on in my life? It's been kind of another boring week. We've just been keeping on. Hubby has been still searching for a trailer so that we can pack all of our stuff up in it. We've narrowed down what kind of trailer we want that we think will be good for driving across the country and the border. But now we have to find one at a price that we're willing to pay. Sadly, it's going to cost more than I wanted it to, but I guess that's just the way of things these days, right? Everything is more expensive than you want it to be. At least he's found a couple of options. He's going to be going to look at those, and then we'll figure out what we're going to do from there. It's not going to be a huge trailer. We're looking at like 6x10, 6x12, somewhere in there. We're trying to figure out, well, we were trying to figure out what we wanted because you can get them single axle or tandem axle, and I feel like having the tandem, which means you get 2-wheel or 4 wheels instead of just 2, I feel like that will be better because we're driving so far, and because by the time that happens, we won't really have a home base. Then if anything should happen, if we have a breakdown or something like that, we should be able to, like if there's a tire goes flat or something, one of the 4 going flat, we should be able to limp to whatever the next place is down the road. So we're not trying to change the flat tire on a trailer on a highway. Fingers crossed that it doesn't lose a tire or whatever at all, but just in case, I feel like that would be safer. But of course, the tandem ones cost more money. So just searching for a good price and just kind of cringing at how expensive this next week is going to be. Our car insurance is due, so we're having to pay that. Just things you don't think about once you start a process like this. Like, I knew we would need to get new car insurance once we moved to Canada, but we're selling the house, so our current car insurance company, we get a discount because we have the cars and the house. Well, we're getting rid of basically everything but one car, so we won't have a multi-car discount. We won't get the home and auto discount, which I guess probably doesn't matter because we'll be getting new insurance once we get to Canada, but it's crazy. We were looking at our renewal papers and it shows we're getting like almost a 50% discount because we have all these different things applied, the multiple car, the home and auto, the this, the that. And I told my husband, once again, I'm struck by how on earth does anybody who doesn't have all of these things afford to pay for insurance? It's crazy. And with all these storms and everything hitting recently, I think it's only going to get crazier, sadly. Anyway, so hubby called to find out how much it would be to insure our trailer. It's a whopping $50-some for 6 months or something like that. So guess I'm not too worried about that. We did find someplace to rent. I can't remember if I told you guys that or not. We did find someplace that we want to rent. So another expense this week has been that we needed to put down a deposit on it. Crossing our fingers that we're not shooting ourselves in the foot by putting down a deposit on someplace before we've sold the house, but we'll see what happens. I'm just hoping that once we sell the house, everything goes through pretty quickly because, you still got to have an inspection. Then you got to wait if there's any lender requirements that have to be met, that kind of thing. Anything that has to be remediated after the inspection. I told my husband, I'm not worried about having an inspection on the house. I mean, we live here, everything works, but you just never know, right? Hopefully, when we get to that part of the process, everything goes pretty smoothly and there's nothing major we need to fix. I mean, we've lived here for 10 years now, and our house was just built in 2010, so it's not like it's a super old house or anything. So I told my husband, I think we'll be fine. But yeah, it was just expensive. The car insurance, the deposit, and if we buy a trailer, which I'm assuming we're going to do fairly quickly here, then that's another chunk out of our savings gone too. I was actually watching a YouTube video. I've been following people who are like new retirees or people who've moved from one place to another just to kind of get ideas for my new channel, which I need to get busy on as well. I just have been busy with other things. But anyway, I was watching this lady. She recently retired, and she was talking about how hard she was finding it to move from a saving mindset to a spending mindset, because as you work towards retirement, you spend all of your time putting money away and putting money in a 401k or putting money in a retirement account or putting money in a pension or whatever it is that you do, putting money in investments. You watch this balance build and build and build and build over your lifetime for decades, hopefully. Now that she's retired, that balance is no longer going up. It's now started going down because, of course, you're taking money out to live on, which is the purpose of it. But it's just really hard to go from watching that number go up, up, and up to watching it slowly dwindle down. And I thought, ooh, man, I feel that lately. I've spent probably the last 6 or 7 years saving up money as much as we could. I mean, we still had bills to pay. I had tuition to pay for and stuff like that, and just daily expenses of living, monthly expenses of living. But anytime we had extra money, I tried to put it away. But now that we've been kind of waiting and waiting and waiting for the house to sell, watching that number dwindle every month while we wait is almost excruciating. It's like, I know we're spending it for good reason. I'm glad that we have it in savings because that's not something everybody would have been able to do. It's allowed us to kind of do what we want. But I told hubby, I'm really ready for his retirement money to come through, because until it does, we're stuck spending all this money, and I would really like to start putting some money back in it instead of spending everything that we're making. We did have more money coming in this month than usual just because, well, this month, I guess it was all this month. I had to take the required minimum distribution from one of my dad's policies or retirement accounts. So I got that. So we had that for income. I did cash out the one small one of mine that I was telling you guys about. That came through. So we had that. So we did have actual money coming in this month, which was nice because that hasn't happened for a few months. But with all these storms and everything, hubby's been getting all these calls, and we're like, he can't go back to work until this thing has been cashed out, because then we just have to start the process all over again, and we don't want to do that. So it's choices we're making, but it's still kind of frustrating to know that he could be out there making some storm money if everything had just come through already like we thought it would. But everything will go fine. We're just waiting, right? Just waiting. On the health front, my oldest is now dealing with some health issues. Not quite sure what's going on. She's been having some unexplained symptoms, so they put her on some medicine, but I'm like, you're just treating the symptoms. What is causing the symptoms is what I want to know. So I think they were waiting on a few more tests for her before they decided exactly what was going on. So hopefully she finds that out soon. As far as my health issues go, I'm feeling slightly better. They did a bunch more testing, and I had my second ultrasound, and they haven't given me an official diagnosis, but they've referred me to a specialist and told me what they think it is. That, I guess that diagnosis gets left up to the specialist to make the official diagnosis. But at least I have some sort of an answer, and now I have next steps to take. So I told my husband, I have an appointment with the specialist set up, but I'm like, is it sad that I'm kind of to the point that I'm so sick of being poked and prodded that I'm like, can you just give me a pill for whatever this is? Because I'm not up for any more testing or anything. Plus, I told my husband, we haven't gotten any of the bills yet. So Lord knows how much those ultrasounds and the CT scan and all that's going to cost me. And that also got me thinking, because I'm now on a maintenance medication, possibly another one after I see the specialist, but at least one for now. And I know that it may take us a while to find a new doctor in Canada. I mean, it took me forever to find one here, so I had to wait almost 6 months for one here. So I'm assuming it's probably at least the same in Canada. I mean, we're not moving. That's going to be somewhere, like, we're not moving to a giant city like Toronto or Vancouver. So I don't think it's going to be as bad as it might be in some of those places where there's a lot more people. But anyway, I'm getting off track here. My point was, I'm now on this maintenance medication and I can get a 90-day supply of it. But if it takes me longer than 90 days to see a doctor, what do I do? Do I just like go to the emergency room? My husband and I were like, we just have the doctor call in a refill. I'm like, yeah, but I'm not going to be in the States anymore. How does that work? Like, I don't think, like, doctors here have to have a DEA number so that they can prescribe controlled medication. Does that go across the border? I mean, it doesn't make sense to me that it would, but, or maybe we just have the doctor call it in, and then we drive into the States and get it refilled. I don't even know, because I just got put on this. I don't even know if I have to like go in back in for blood work and stuff for it. I don't think I do, other than like a yearly checkup or something, but I guess that's a question I should ask my doctor too. So I guess after I see the specialist, maybe I'll ask them some of these questions depending on what happens there. Because we have the same thing for my husband. He's got on medicine for his diabetes, obviously, and same thing for him. He can get a 90-day supply, but I don't know how it works up there. Like, hubby and I were talking, and I was like, is there like immediate care clinic or whatever like we have here? And he said no. And I'm like, well, so do you just go to the emergency room if you don't have a doctor? And he's like, yeah, probably. I love asking him questions because, he lived there for 40 years and he still, when I ask him sometimes, oh no, well, how does this work there? Oh no. How did you live there and not know this? Anyway, just questions that I need answered. But I am at least feeling better, so that's good. I told my husband I don't know if that's just because some of the anxiety has been reduced because I feel like we sort of have an answer. Somebody made a comment that getting a diagnosis is half the battle because it's so stressful waiting to find out what it is. And woof, is that true? In talking to my husband, there's so many things. Like, I'm not a doctor. There's probably stuff going on that I've never even heard of that would never occur to me that, oh, maybe that's it. I think all of us just immediately jump to worst case scenario because that's what you hear. You don't hear about people who are like, oh, I had this thing and I went to the doctor and it turned out to be nothing, right? You hear, oh, I went to the doctor and I have this whatever, incurable, this needs surgery, that needs this, whatever. Yeah. So I do feel like the anxiety has been somewhat reduced and I'm feeling better. I'm still having symptoms, but not to the extent that I was before. So that's all good. So hubby and I were looking, and like I said, I think we found someplace that we want to rent. But while we were talking about it, I said to hubby, oh, that means I need to repack everything. He's like, why? Gosh, I'm getting such a sense of deja vu. If I've told you guys this before, feel free to skip ahead a few seconds because I can't remember because I'm old. Anyway, I need to repack stuff because when I was packing stuff before, I was just kind of throwing everything in a box. Here's this stuff, this needs packed up. Here's this needs packed up. And it didn't necessarily make sense how everything went together, but I just figured, what difference does it make? It's all going to get unpacked when we move into the house, right? Well, if we're not moving into the house, then I don't need everything. Like a bunch of our mementos, or like the place we're looking at is furnished. So, like for instance, kitchen stuff. I'm definitely taking my KitchenAid mixer because I love that thing, but I probably won't need it if we're going to be living for several months in a rental. I mean, what are the odds I'm going to need a mixer? And what are the odds that we're just going to get a storage unit? So if I do need something, we can always just go pull it out. But like a lot of things, like my D&D mini collection and all of our books from that and everything that I've packed up, all of our dice, I'm probably not going to need access to all of that. We can get it by with online if we're going to play, which we probably won't for several months until we figure out what's going on. So all of that kind of stuff can impact my books. I'm not going to haul those out in a furnished rental. So all of those can go into a storage unit, stuff like that. So I need to repack stuff and figure out what's going to go where and what makes sense for us to take with us, because that's going to affect how we pack the trailer as well. Like obviously all the stuff that we would want to unpack into the rental, clothes and things and personal electronics, that kind of stuff that's going to be something we need every day, we would want to pack towards the door of the trailer. So that can be the first thing we take off, unload, and then everything else we can drive over to a storage place and put it all in storage. I mean, I suppose I told my husband, I guess we could unload everything in the rental and just leave it in boxes and let it sit there rather than paying for a storage facility, but I just feel like it would be in the way. I guess it depends on the place we're renting too. Everything looks different on the internet. The pictures that we're looking at might not be exactly what it looks like, so play it by ear, but I at least want to have done something to sort of make it make sense when I have it packed, which probably is the way I should have done it to begin with, but isn't, so. Also, I want hubby to get the trailer because I think once we do get the trailer and we start loading stuff in, because he's, oh, we'll have room for this and this and this and this, and I'm like, I don't think the trailer is going to hold as much as you think it will. Also, we have to pay attention to how much everything weighs. And we're not taking a ton of furniture, but we do want to take some, and some of it could be heavy. Like I'm taking my grandpa's cedar chest, so that's going to have some weight to it. And we'll probably put stuff inside of it, so definitely will have some weight to it. We have a total gym that we had planned on taking. That may change because it's pretty heavy if there's other things that end up taking precedence. And that's why I told him we need to kind of keep an eye on things. I mean, obviously, all my diamond paintings are going. So, how much room and weight is all that going to take? Just, yeah, things that if we were like using a moving truck, it wouldn't matter. I mean, we're not taking hugely heavy things, like we're not taking any appliances or stuff like that. But we do have a couple pieces of furniture that could be heavy, like I said. I don't know. We'd planned on taking like some computer desks and things. I don't know if that's going to make it. We are taking my adjustable table for sure. But the tabletop isn't heavy, but the legs of it are kind of heavy. So we'll see about that. And I told my husband I'm kind of to the point once we get the trailer, regardless of what's going on with the house, I want to start loading things into the trailer. It's not been super, super hot here lately. I think we finally hit fall weather. It's not been over 100 degrees. Not that I'm going to throw my diamond paintings out there or anything, but there are things from the house, you know, blankets and books and that kind of stuff that we could put out in the trailer. The cedar chest I can empty and we can put out in the trailer just to kind of start to see how much room we're going to have, what the weight looks like, that sort of thing. It's so complicated. Every time we come across something new, I'm like, that person that said so long ago, just sell everything and move. Man, I don't want to do that because obviously there are things I don't want to get rid of, but it is ending up being more complicated than I would like it to be. Also just stressful because we're going to be crossing the border and we know that they are going to want to look through the stuff and all of that. And not that I care that they look through it, but just I know myself and the stress of having to sit there and wait while they go through everything is just probably the same anxiety that I'll have just crossing the border, because I have that every time too. I don't know why. It's not like we're doing anything wrong. It just being in that situation, like going through security at the airport. I don't like that either. I get it, but I don't like it. So I think, like I said, I think we're going to end up having to pare down some more stuff. Hubby doesn't agree with me, but I bet I'm right. Or we'll have to make some decisions about we thought we were going to be able to take all of this. Also, I think sometimes we forget. Like I was telling hubby, he's got 4 big totes full of his work, like tools and gear and climbing harnesses and boots and gloves and that kind of stuff. Like we have 4 totes just for that. Although, like I said, after we got rid of my dad's car, our garage seems so empty. There's actually a whole lot less in there that we're going to have to go through that we might take than I thought. So it'll all be cool. I think that's enough about my regular life. Let's move on to my diamond painting life, which has kind of sort of been just as boring as my regular life. I mean, not boring. I'm working on stuff. That's how I know I'm feeling better. I've actually worked and gotten some stuff done. If you guys didn't see yesterday's video, go check that out. I finished another kit from Bella Art Diamonds, the Christmas one that I was working on. I think she turned out amazing. I'm really happy with it. I really like all the extra bling that I added in. I think it worked really well. And that kit went so fast. I think I was just used to working on bigger projects for the rest of the year. Like, I spent basically the entire month of May just working on the J wall, which I think makes everything feel like it was going slower, but it wasn't really necessarily going slower. I don't think it was just my perception of it. But also, because I was not feeling good and I was sleeping a lot, I wasn't getting a lot of diamond painting done. So now that I feel better, I have been getting some done, which obviously makes a difference. I finished that one, so go check that out. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and that bell so you don't miss any other videos, because I should have this one done soon. In case you couldn't tell from the opening, I only have 2 sections of this one left, and then I'll be done with this one. After this one, then I plan to work on the Christmas bunny, which I unboxed earlier this week. Go check that out if you haven't seen that one. That one will be my last kit for the 2024 Diamond Art Club Challenge. I had a bunch of people asking me questions about the Diamond Art Club Challenge. I am not in any of their Facebook groups, which is where I believe they post it, but I generally see somebody else posting about it on Facebook or Instagram, so that's where I got the information, and it usually comes out pretty early in the year. I've done it for the last 2 years, I think. So maybe I just did it last year, I can't remember. But anyway, it's usually 5 kits, and one of the categories they give you is whatever the current year is, a new release from Diamond Art Club. And of course, it's a Diamond Art Club challenge, so they are all Diamond Art Club kits. And I don't think they do it for prizes or anything. Like, I've never seen like a sign up sheet or anything. It's more just like a community type thing to do for fun. And I have a lot of Diamond Art Club kits, and I usually have something that will fit. So, like last year, one of the categories was your oldest Diamond Art Club, which I was doing anyway. Actually, I think that was one of the categories this year too. So if you're in the Diamond Art Club Facebook group, that's where they should post it, as far as I'm aware. And like I said, they usually do it pretty early in the year, so you have time to work on it all year. But that'll be my last kit for that. And then I need to unbox my DP for Veterans kit that I'm going to be doing, because DP for Veterans is coming up soon. So probably sometime mid-October, I'll be unboxing and kitting up the kit that I'm going to be doing for that. And I'll have, at the same time, I'll have the official rules posted. I haven't done the official rules video yet because I wanted to wait until October for that. But the entry form is open. I'll throw a link to that in the description box below. So if you want to go ahead and sign up for the event, I'm not sure what it's going to look like because that's a whole month away, and I'm hoping maybe we'll have sold the house, and I don't know if we'll be mid-move, if we'll have moved, whatever, but I am planning to still do the event. It may change a little bit depending on my location, but still planning to do it. So be sure you sign up for that one. Theme is patriotic, Remembrance Day, veterans, military, anything like that. And for patriotic, it can be something patriotic for your country. It doesn't have to be USA patriotic. If you live somewhere else, obviously you have your own things. So flags, animals, whatever, all of that works. Oh, and someone did point out, I was talking about in the earlier video, making donations to a military or veteran organization. I always forget, and I don't know why, but I always forget. If you live, at least in the States, I don't know how prevalent these are in other places, but if you live someplace where they have like a VFW or a Legion Hall locally, then that's a good place to donate your money. Donating locally is always better than donating to a large kind of national organization, just because local charities use that money locally. So you can kind of see more readily the impact that your contributions can have much easier than you can with donations that you make to some national organization. Again, donating is not a requirement for the event, but if you have the funds and you can, always appreciated, because so many times those people kind of get forgotten. I've also been repacking kind of what's left in my stash. I've had to go back through all of my boxes a couple of times to dig out stuff. Like my bunny that I just unboxed was actually packed away, so I kind of had to go back through everything. So I'll be doing another stash video for October, but I'm going to do it just the way that I did it before. Rather than dragging all the boxes out, I'll just show you guys the pictures and do like a voiceover kind of thing. I actually, when I had them out and I was repacking them, I tried to get video of my packing of it because you guys have asked about that. So I was going to do a video on it. And then I realized after I got done repacking everything that I didn't actually hit the record button apparently, or something happened and it didn't turn on because I thought I was recording and I wasn't. So that's kind of frustrating. However, I may be going back through my boxes again, not to repack anything, but just to find some stuff because I'm finishing these kits so much faster than I thought I would. Like I said, I can't believe how quickly the waiting on the holiday one, the Christmas one went. I really struggled with the Halloween girl one, the first Drills and Chills one that I did. The Christmas one was just such smooth sailing after that that it was amazing. This one hasn't been quite as smooth as the Bella Art, but it's still been way better than the Halloween girl, and it's going pretty quickly. Again, some of that is down to the smoothness of the drills and the symbols and stuff like that, but some of it is also just down to I'm actually diamond painting now that I'm feeling better. But like I said, I only have 2 sections of this one left, and then I'm going to need to move on to something else. So I have the bunny already out and ready to go, but I'm not quite sure what I want to do after that. So this one I think I'm going to finish before the end of September, which means that I should have time in October to finish the bunny and at least one other kit. So now I'm trying to figure out, because it's going to be October, do I do a third Drills and Chills kit? I have a couple that I could pick from, but then I have a couple that I would like to do from my want series list. So maybe I want to do one of those, or maybe I just want to pull out another small one because they're going so quickly, and just try and finish some things to maybe make up for some diamond painting time that I'm not going to have once we actually move. Or maybe I'll just run another poll. I'm kind of leaning towards that, picking out like another Drills and Chills, picking out one from my want series, and then picking a couple other just kind of random ones, maybe one small one and one something else, to do another poll with to see which one you guys would like to see me finish, because I just like to diamond paint. It doesn't really matter to me which kit it is necessarily. Other than I told hubby if I'm doing some of these small ones, then I'm making room in my storage boxes and I don't have to worry about packing as many boxes of kits. Although I say that, and I've been out looking for new kits to buy. Bella Art had some new releases that I still need to go back through and look at. I found a couple of new, to me, diamond painting companies that I want to look at and see if I want to buy something from them. But then I'm like, I told my husband, I have all these points at Diamond Art Club. I should spend all of them. And then in the next breath, I'm like, no, 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 I should save them all because then I could use them for free shipping if I'm in Canada, because I still have quite a bit of my budget left. And if we're in Canada on Black Friday, and that's the other thing is, even though we may not be here in the States on Black Friday, they're going to release a whole bunch of kits on Black Friday, as will other places, I'm assuming. I know Dreamer Designs does new releases on Black Friday as well. I don't know if they do as many as the Diamond Art Club will do, but in past years, they've released like 100 new kits on Black Friday, and then they'll release like another 25 or something on Cyber Monday. And I would hate to have spent all of my points prior to that, not just because I could use it for free shipping, but just because They should have some pretty decent sales, so the prices might be a little bit less. It'll be a bunch of new images that I haven't seen before. That's why I haven't actually bought anything recently. Most of it is not the money, it's that I just haven't seen any kind of kits that I'm like, yes, absolutely, I've got to have that one. And maybe some of that is just I've been diamond painting long enough now, or that I just feel like I have enough of a stash that I don't feel that need to be like, oh, I need to buy some more. Maybe it's just a need for retail therapy that I'm feeling like I need to spend some points. I don't know. It's hard to resist when they put stuff on sale. But the last few times that they've had sales, I've found myself going back through the website and like I'm actively searching for something that I'm like, oh, yes, I need to have that one. And I figure if I'm having to work that hard at it, that probably means I don't really want it. I guess I could just stick them all in my cart and then come back and see, do I really want this one? But usually I don't even get that far before I'm like, I'm working too hard at this. That means I don't need anything right now. Also, I know some of it is that whole, like I said, it's really hard after saving for so long to kind of watch all that money heading out the door every month. And buying a bunch of kits right now where we're kind of in flux probably isn't the smartest idea in case we need that money for something else. Hubby, as always, is blissfully unconcerned about that sort of thing. Oh, eventually we're going to sell the house and then we'll have the money from the sale of the house and blah, blah, blah. Yes, but that money's been earmarked to buy a new house. It's not like this is money that we're going to have to live on or whatever. This is money that we have set aside for a specific purpose. So he is ever the optimist, which is good because I tend to be my glass is half full about stuff. I think that's just the part of my brain that's like, I need to prepare for the worst. That way I'm prepared. And if it goes better than I think, then I'm pleasantly surprised. Hubby is the complete opposite. He's like, I don't want to worry about that. What's the point of worrying about it? If nothing happens, then I worried about it and spent all that energy for nothing. To which I reply, but that's because I spent all of my energy worrying about it, which means it didn't happen. And he just rolls his eyes at me and goes on. So So we balance each other out in that way. All right, this probably isn't going to be a very long whip and chat, but that's okay. Like I said, it was kind of a boring week. I mean, there were things happening, but just boring in that nothing exciting like, ooh, I've figured completely out what's wrong with me. It's nothing. It was blah, blah, blah. Or, yay, we sold the house and I secretly moved to Canada without telling you guys. Ha ha. Nope, none of that. Not that I would do that. I do need to get busy this week. I keep putting off. I think it's because hubby's home all the time, so it feels like kind of like a permanent vacation, which is kind of crazy. But that's how it feels. And so because it feels like that, I'm not working on things like I should. Like I'm diamond painting, but I'm not like doing admin stuff like I normally would. I've not been working on the new channel and figuring out, like I was in the middle of taking a class on a new video editor. I haven't finished that. I haven't spent any time really learning how to use the new camera we bought. So some of that stuff needs to happen. Plus that would keep me busy and keep me from worrying about what's going on with the house and the lot and everything else while we wait, and probably would take my mind off some of my health stuff too. Maybe that's partly why I'm feeling better as well. I'm not as tired as I was, so I'm diamond painting more, and that's helping with my mental stress as well. Something for me to remember when I get into that mindset that diamond painting actually helps me feel better, even if I don't always feel like doing it. Of course, it helps that it's now full swing football season, so every weekend, all day Saturday, well, like for instance this weekend, Friday night, hubby was watching CFL football and a couple of college games. All day Saturday, they watch college games, and if there's any CFL on, hubby's also watching racing and stuff. And then, of course, the NFL season has started. So Sunday, Monday, Thursday, we're watching football, which means those are all times that hubby is ensconced on the couch. So I can be sat at my diamond painting table, diamond painting while he's watching football. Kind of anxious to see how this one turns out. I'm adding in quite a bit of bling with this one too. I had a lot of fun with the holiday one, so I'm hoping this one turns out just as good. All right, let me zoom out here. I didn't get a ton accomplished, but So you can see here, I'm just down on this section to actually a couple of colors. One of them is this kind of white AB, and then the other color is one, I'm actually using the ABs. This bag was almost full, but I'm almost out, and I've got quite a bit of this to do in this section and the last one. So I've just kind of been sprinkling it in. I think it's turning out okay. This kit had, I think, 5 or 6 ABs in it already, plus one crystal, which you can kind of see here is one of the stars in his hat. I gotta say, I'm actually not super thrilled with the way the crystal looks. One, it's clear, so I feel like it kind of gets lost. I wish it was a darker color. And also, I just am not a fan of the crystals being mixed in with regular sized drills because I feel like the crystals always are just a teeny bit bigger, so they don't quite fit in smoothly with all the rest of the drills. That's why I like the pixie dust better. But anyway, so I've got lots of ones that I'm adding in. Some, like the black, I'm just kind of sprinkling in here and there. The white that came with it gets used everywhere, but then like I've got my 3371 and my 939 that I'm putting in that was like in the wizard's hat and the cat. I love how it's turning out so far, and I'm almost done with it. So that's it for me today, guys. Thanks so much for sticking around to the end of the video. Before you leave, don't forget to do all the things. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and hit that bell notification icon so that you can be informed of future uploads. And as always, guys, thanks so much for watching.